I would like to do a piece on Kamala Harris. I have been seeing a lot of controversy on Kamala. Uh, I've been noticing that a lot of people is saying that she's not fit or she shouldn't be the president. She shouldn't be in that office. But today I want to just expound on who this lady is. This lady actually, if you underestimate her, you be in trouble because this lady is actually was an attorney general in the Bay Area. Not only that she was attorney general, the average person don't know that a prosecutor is one of the most smartest, down to earth, uh, uh, go to people for the United States government. The government says when you take an oath to become a prosecutor or a lawyer, your first oath is to protect the United States government first. So that means when they are representing the government, they are going to fight tooth and nail for the government. A lot of people don't know that Johnny Cochran comes out of the prosecutor's office and he became a lawyer. Those guys that come out the prosecutor, the women come out the prosecutor's office, is some of the most smartest, intelligent people in the world. These people have 75 backup prosecutors in every federal court. Do you know that this woman was trained all the way to be a prosecutor? She know how to cross-examine, she know how to examine, and she know exactly how to uh, take things apart from a prosecutor's perspective. She know how to take the society ills and make you understand that you need to be in prison because the prosecutor oath is to protect the United States government, and that's what she's doing. She's protecting the United States government at all costs. She will put up a fight. She will go to sleep fighting. She will wake up fighting. And this woman has fought her way all the way up to be a vice president. So don't you ever think that she's going to let you roll over her. Don't ever think that she's not going to fight tooth and nail. Donald Trump has never been a prosecutor. Those prosecutors got on his butt so bad that he didn't want to testify anymore. That's why when Bill Gates had a trial about Microsoft or whatever company he was running, and he thought he was really smart, he thought he was computer savvy, he thought he was one of the smartest people in the world. But when they put Bill Gates on the stand, the prosecutor chopped him up so bad. When he went back to his office and to his complex, his compound, he said, I'm going to step down. I'm going to let somebody else be CEO because the next time they call somebody from my company to testify for my company, I'm not doing it. Because these prosecutors have the way of dissecting anybody that gets on that stand. That's why you don't have federal courts in federal buildings. They don't have cameras in federal trials. They have it in state trials because what these prosecutors learn how to do, how they was trained, and how they know how to attack anybody that gets on that stand. That's when the prosecutors shows you exactly who is an American. They're going to say that, look at this guy. He's destroying America with his tactics. Look what Bill Gates was doing. He was sewing his browser onto his computer so nobody else can, IBM and other companies can plug into his computers. And when they got him on the stand, they made him say everything that they wanted him to say. That's why you see he's just an advisor to his company. Because when he went to court for doing what he did, he sat back and seen how he looked when they cross-examined him. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to talk. He talking to all these big $1 million people, $1 billion people, but he couldn't take on one prosecutor that was trained by the prosecutor's office. This is just like these prosecutors go to things something like West Point. They are some of the most intelligent people in the United States. But the only way you would ever understand, the only way you would ever see how these tactics they use, you have to go through a federal trial or be in the courtroom when these prosecutors is using their techniques to cross-examine you. I see guys that get on that stand with no education. I see guys that get on that stand that don't know what they're doing. Look at all these rappers. Look at all these guys that they didn't. Do you know that the federal government have an 85% conviction rate? That means if you don't plead guilty, you're going to get found guilty on a high level of 85%. That's only a few percent off of being 100. So when you go back and you look at these prosecutors and how they was trained and where they was trained, I see a lot of people attacking this woman. I see a lot of people going at her. But do you know that it's nothing, I mean nothing you can do, nothing you can say that can get her off her square. She has been in some of the most powerful courts, some of the most powerful trials in the United States. It's nothing you can get her off of her square. Do you know this woman is so talented that she can go in a room with everybody in the room don't like her. Everybody in the room don't want to hear what she have to say. And she can go in a room and use the thing called oral talking skills, where she can look at the people directly in their face, but you don't know what part of the face she's looking at. And they teach you how to use your thumbs and speaking. I see her a lot of times using her thumbs, making a point. I see Bill Clinton. I see a lot of these high-powered people using their thumbs. That's a tactic that they use. But this woman, she got all of those skills. She even have the skills of looking at you at your forehead. So when you're actually looking at a crowd, they teach you don't look in the eyes, because you look at people's eyes, that would make you get hypnotized into the eyes. So they make you to teach you to look into their forehead. That way you won't get hypnotized with a piece I provide. But I see this woman. I had talked to one of my friends, and her name was Kelly. And I wanted to really understand why Kelly is fighting for Kamala. And she was saying that, Ron, if we don't help this woman become president, our grandkids, our great-grandkids is not going to be able to live in society in America, because we have to fight for women's rights. We have to fight to get this woman to the highest office in the United States. And that will be able to help our next generation, because if we don't fight for this woman and help her get in there, it's going to be tragedy on the next generation. And I was thinking about my situation where I was in prison, and I got out of prison, and Donald Trump changed the bill for me to get out. He made it retroactive. And I was thinking selfish. I wasn't thinking about how the women in North Carolina, South Carolina helped Joe Biden get over that hump. I didn't think about the woman that helped him really get over the hump in Atlanta. And I really don't really know exactly how this election is going to work out. And I just wanted to talk about my friend Kelly, how when she was talking to me, how sympathetic she was, and how she was trying to explain to me, it's not about us. It's not about, the way we think it is for the future. And I understand that. And, sometimes I I have a chance to be biased because I had a life sentence, and Obama didn't let me out. He kept us in prison. But Donald Trump come up and made it retroactive, and he let us out of prison. A lot of us. So I was always thinking about myself. I was always thinking about here and now, and I kind of understand now what Kelly was telling me about the future. I kind of understand now how a lot of these things is going on in society, and we really don't have an opportunity to really take advantage of a lot of the things that we need to take advantage because we are stuck into what's on the outside, not on the inside. But I wanted to just really talk about this particular lady. I see that I had a friend that was in the Bay Area. His name is Twin, and I see how when he went to court, he pled for 40, and I think Kamala was a attorney general, and he had to take a deal, but the evidence wasn't work. It didn't match up, and he was forced to take a 40-year deal. But the thing was, they charged this guy with some gang activity, with some things that they charged him with being on the wrong side of the fence, which he wasn't from that side. But when you're in the streets and you associated with certain gangs, and then the prosecutors associate you with the wrong gang, that can get you hurt, even in prison and out of prison. But they have some tapes in Twin's favor that one of the cops that was under the police department fabricated and said that we got those guys from over to certain area, and we used a lot of evidence that wasn't really good and wasn't really in the favor of them guys. But it's on tape, and I hope Twin can get the tape. But at the same time, man, if you don't know the power that the vice president has to even be vice president, and I want you to really pay attention to Kamala's style. She have a unique style. She have a style that's people haven't really seen before up close. And if you don't pay attention to what is she doing, she know what she doing. Believe that. Don't you ever think she don't know what she doing. And she from a school that taught her to be good at what she does. Because I remember one time I was sitting in prison and I seen her out do a police chief that was running for some kind of something in that area. And I seen her outperform him, and everybody thought that was a fluke, but that wasn't no fluke. This woman really know what she doing, and she know how to play the part, and she know how to talk, and she really know what she doing. And a lot of women, they don't understand when a person like her make it to the top, it's not by accident. I know Hillary Clinton thought she was going to make it up to this point. She did it. And she thought that she was going to have the backing of the blacks. She thought she was going to be able to go in because of Bill. She thought she was going to be able to win, a lot of blacks. But somewhere down the road, she put her foot in her mouth. But this woman, Tamala, you should see how she chop up Trump on stage. She is a professional at what she does. She's an all-star. She know what quarter she in. She know the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the first quarter, when to turn it up, when not to turn it up, when to be a woman, when to laugh, when to smile, when to not smile, when to be serious, when to make things look so important, which country to back, which city to back, who you can't say things about, and who you got to agree with on certain issues. She knows these things, and I see a lot of guys, they talking about Trump this and how Trump is helping them, or with the taxes, and how he's for the rich, and the rich supposed to be for the rich, and the poor supposed to be the poor. But this lady is right on point, and I see that if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't pay attention to what she's doing, you're going to be stuck and left out just like the rest of these guys. They don't know how she keep on gaining momentum, and she making Trump look like he's from elementary school. And I just wanted to talk about this lady. I've been watching her for a while. This is the Vice President of the United States, and it's not by no accident, and it's not by somebody putting her in there when they just putting a token in there. This woman, you better pay attention to what she's doing and how she's doing it, and who is her constituencies, and how she came all the way from the Bay Area as a prosecutor, as Attorney General, as the President of the as Vice President of the United States, and as the President of the United States. If you can't find anybody to challenge her the right way, or challenge her on her ability, you're going to lose. I know that these prosecutors is some of the smartest women guys in the world. I didn't went up against a whole bunch of them, and wasn't even representing myself those days. I had a lawyer, I had a high paid lawyer, but these lawyers is nothing compared to these prosecutors. Do you know that the average prosecutor, the average judge, the average public defender, when they learn the inside of the prosecutor's office, then a lot of them become judges. That's just like in the American Gangster Story, what's his name? Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas actually had a guy that was a police at first. Then he became a lawyer. Then he became a lawyer. Then he became almost like a prosecutor. But 35 years later, this guy was actually his lawyer. That's how come he knew how to win this guy's freedom and win his money back or whatever it is, because he knew the inside. Johnny Cochran came out of that same office. I remember one time they were saying Johnny Cochran, when he went to trial against the OJ case, he knew exactly what buttons to push. And I seen in that trial, I seen the prosecutor's office up close, because I had a federal case. And I went in there with a good lawyer. But these lawyers, their oath is to protect the United States government first. That means that the government is first, then you. That's why in South Africa, they don't have jury trials. They have judge trials, because they know that the country is too racist. But the United States have a bench trial and they have a jury trial. And they know that these prosecutors are smart enough to know that if you keep beating the federal government in the United States, it won't be nowhere for us to live. It won't be nowhere for the United States people to live, and they can beat these prosecutors, because it's just, if you keep beating the prosecutors, then nobody will be in jail. So they have 85%. And anytime you offer people their freedom, instead of going and being incarcerated, a lot of people, 50% is going to say they want freedom. Then the other percentage is they're going to plead with the United States attorney. That's why you see the federal system went from 15,000 in the 80s to 218,000 in the 2000s, because the prosecutors have the ability to negotiate, because they can put how much drugs in your case they want, because you got to understand at the end of the day, they're the ones that is talking about the amount of drugs. They gonna put how much drugs they need in your case, or hearsay, because you see what they did to Puffy. To make Puffy case go federal, they had to show guns. That's why the first thing they showed was Puffy had an AK or guns with individual serial numbers. That's what you call the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And anytime you violated any of that, it's going federal. Now Puffy's in the federal court. Now the federal court costs hundreds of thousands. State court costs 5,000. They're not trying to have this case go state because state is not going to cost that much. Kamala Harris, Vice President, United States President, Kamala Harris.